Hi, I just wanted to talk to you about the Lee Filters foundation kit that I bought recently. I'm really into my landscape photography and I shoot in RAW most of the time, and I'm able to rescue blown out highlights in the skies quite a lot of the time, but occasionally the sky is so blown out that I lose an awful lot of detail and it was ruining some pretty good shots. So what I decided to do to sort that was get myself a filter system like this one. So I just wanted to talk you through what you get in the foundation kit and also my experiences of using this filter system so far. So when you get your Lee filter foundation kit, what you get is this, first of all. So you get your Lee filters pouch, and in here you have your filter attach thingy. You also get some screws, and you also get a little screwdriver as well. The reason for that is because you can add on additional slot holders onto this to get more filters in. This filter system as it comes takes two filters. I'll show you how they slot in just one second, but if you wanted to add more than two filters you can use the provided kit to add those on. I haven't done that, I've only used one filter so far, but should you want more than two you can do that. What I also got in the kit was this, which was a 0.9 neutral density graduation filter, and the soft version. Apparently you can get it as well with the hard version. I initially went for the soft filter, okay, which looks a little bit, hope you can see that, like that. And the one thing you don't get with the filter system is the adapter ring, and the reason you don't get it is because it depends on the size of the lens you're using as to what adapter ring you need. This lens I've got here is a Canon 17 to 40 EFL lens, and that is a 77 millimeter diameter. So what I had to do was order the adapter ring separately, and the adapter ring looks like this. Okay, so you need to remember you need the adapter ring in order to use this system, and it doesn't come with the foundation kit, you have to get that separately. So that's what the ring looks like, so I'll show you how to assemble it. First thing you need to do is take your lens hood off. Okay, so you can't use your lens hood, so you have to take that off. I've got a couple of screw-in filters already on here. I've got a polarizer on here, so you can't have, I've got two filters on here, you can't have two filters, so I need to take that off. I also have a UV protector filter on here, which you can keep on when you put this system on, and likewise you could have your polarizer still on here before you put the filter system on, but the problem is that you can't rotate your polarizer after you've got the filter system on. So you find you could have it set up for landscape shots, but as soon as you go and take something portrait you've lost the polarization. So you could leave that on, but I'm going to take it off. Reason being I want as few filters in front of the lens as possible. Okay, so the first thing you do is you take your adapter ring, and we need to screw that onto the outside of our lens. Okay, so screw that in fairly tight, so that's the first thing we need to do. Then second thing we do is we actually take the filter holder itself and place that over the adapter ring, pull out the lever, and it just sits in like that. Okay, I have seen some people complaining that this filter system falls off. It hasn't fallen off for me yet. It can catch. Sometimes when you take it out of the bag can sometimes catch on this lever and pull the system off, but I haven't personally experienced that yet. So the next thing we need to then do is actually slot in our filter. So I'll take the soft 0.9, so that's a 3-stop filter, this one. I find that the 3-stop system works quite well for me. What I then do is slide it into the slots just here, and they're rubber slots and it's just held in by tension. But again, I've heard people complain that these fall out. I've been walking around with this on a shoot and it didn't move at all. I found it absolutely fine, so I can move that around, upside down, all over the place, and the filter doesn't move. So what I would then do is I set up my shot, and then I would just move the filter up and down as required to darken the sky, then expose for the foreground, and hopefully get a better exposed shot overall. Again, I can put a second filter in here should I want to do that, but at the moment I haven't had any need for putting in a second filter. And that's it really. I was a little bit nervous when I got the filter system because I wasn't sure how complicated it was going to be to set up and use, but I've actually found it an awful lot simpler than I thought it was going to be, which is good news. The other thing I did was I did get myself another filter as well. I got a hard grad one as well. So the hard grad one I might use for seascapes where the horizon is quite straight. The soft grad one I'll probably use more for more mountainous landscapes where the horizon, well, there isn't a horizon or the horizon is quite irregular in shape. So I wanted to get one that I could use for each situation. So what I'll do now is I'm going to, on the screen you'll see a few examples of the filter system. Here's an example of a picture I took without the filter system. It is a JPEG, it's not a RAW file. What I tend to do is shoot both RAW and JPEG at the same time. So that's a JPEG file without the filter, and then this is one with the ND Grad filter, and you can see that the sky is definitely darker. And when I'm working in RAW, it means that I can retrieve an awful lot more detail from the sky than if I hadn't used the filter. And this is the final image using the filtered shot, and you can see that I was able to pull out a reasonably good amount of detail from the foreground and the sky. So these particular shots were taken portrait rather than landscape. So all I need to do, so I'm shooting away in landscape, just turn the camera around. I can easily just move the filter system around like that. Okay, so even though it's quite secure, it's actually also quite easy to move. So you would often have this set up on a tripod, but it's also quite easy to shoot handheld as well, so it doesn't have to be in a tripod. So I actually found myself moving around on the beach just with a setup like this without the tripod. So I'm thinking over it, I'm quite glad that I did buy this system. The only downside is that I don't have a polarizer for this. I'm going to have to buy a separate polarizer ring for this, which is not cheap. So I'll do that at a later stage. I'm in no rush to do that. But there you go. I hope you found that useful if you were thinking of buying one of these systems, and I'll see you soon.